respect.
No.
Think of the Tony.
Hello, all you theater lovers, both out and proud and on the DL, and welcome back to Broadway Breakdown, a podcast discussing the history and legacy of American theater's most exclusive address, Broadway. I am your host, Matt Koplik, the least famous and most opinionated of all the Broadway podcast hosts, and with me today are friends of the pod. They've been gone for so long, but they've come home at last. You know them from their own podcast, Half Hour with Jeff and Richie. Please welcome back Richie Grasso and Jeff Malone. Hello, boys.
Hey, how are you? Happy New Year. I'm like, hey.
You guys just said that at the exact same time. Hey. So sweet. Happy New Year. How are you guys doing this New Year so far?
We're doing well. We're year, ready for reflecting on a lot of shows of 2025 and looking ahead to 2026, but all is well.
So yeah, exciting. Well, that is why we're here. It is our very first way too early Tony predictions episode. We love to get this shit in January when it's still so wide open that anything is possible.
Yes.
Rather than do an official ballot for January, what I have decided to do for us gentlemen is to look back on the season so far that we have seen. And there are a couple of things that you're seeing in the next week before this episode comes out, but after we record. So we're all kind of feeling our way through, but we're looking back on the season so far and just kind of telling listeners based on what we've seen, what we're telling everyone to maybe not forget about come May. Maybe, be bold and put that on your predictions ballot because that just might happen from our own personal insight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I feel like, and it's tough because I feel like, unfortunately, so many things from June to December are forgotten a lot of times in the Tony Awards. Not all, of course, but there's a lot of things that we get not counted in because a million things open in March and April, so it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out.
Yeah, we definitely have a busy spring per usual, but it's not as busy as the last couple of years.
Yes. Agreed.
Overall, it's fewer shows this season, especially on the musical front. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with nominations. I have some thoughts, and I'm sure you do too. Yes. So let's get into it. You guys pick the first category, and we'll go from there.
Okay, should we start big or should we go small? We have a whole breakdown here. I'm gonna say should we just go with the big one first?
Yeah, like best play.
Let's go best play. Let's go there.
Best play, baby.
All right, we are what's eligible so far, right? We have Call Me Izzy, Punch, Little Bear Ridge Road, Liberation, Art, and Waiting for Godot and Oedipus.
No, those are revival.
No.
Oh, those are revival. Sorry, I read them all. I meant to read just the new play. Call Me Izzy, Punch, Little Bear Ridge Road, Liberation.
Yes, I think All Out is also eligible. All In was eligible last year, but also let's be real.
Yeah. I don't think that's going.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. I saw All In last year, and that was enough for me. I'm not seeing All Out. All Out, which has a lineup of people I care less about, and apparently this year's stories from Simon Rich are even worse than last year's. We're not seeing.
I know, and I think Lawrence being there playing is kind of cool, but other than that, I don't need to spend all this money to go and see that. It seems
exactly
like a placeholder. So, all right, best play. What do you think?
I mean, right now I'm putting my money on Liberation as best play from what we've seen.
Yes, I think Liberation is an absolute lock for a nomination. It is absolutely the front runner right now. We've got some British imports come in that are supposedly heavy hitters like Giant and Every Brilliant Thing, but at this moment it is Liberation. I'll also say Little Bear Ridge Road is probably a lock at this point. Punch and Call Me Izzy, you had your moments.
Yeah,
power to you. I think there's a world in which they get recognized in other spots. We'll get to that in a second.
Part of me feels like Call Me Izzy will be completely forgotten. I didn't really like it either, but
no, it wasn't a good play. I think the only way that play gets recognized down the line would be Gene Smart, and even that, I'm thinking probably a Drama League nomination for individual performance, and that's where we're calling it. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess we can go into revival since I already read them through. So we'll do best revival, Art, Waiting for Godot, and Oedipus so far, and we have a lot of revivals coming this spring, but that's what we got.
So The question is what happens with Bug and Marjorie Prime, as this is
Right.
technically their Broadway debuts, but they've both been around for a while. Marjorie Prime was a Pulitzer finalist 12 years ago. Bug has been around for over 20 years, has a movie version, and so does Marjorie Prime. I'm going to go ahead and say that they're going to be considered revivals. I think these are going to fall under the classics ruling.
Yeah.
But of course, Tony's gonna Tony. And last year was weird because we had Eureka Day, which should have been considered original. That fell into revival for some reason. And then many years ago, One Man, Two Governors. I know they tried to make that a revival. That ended up going in as original. So I do think Bug and Marjorie Prime, which are both, over a decade old. Bug is like 20 years old, and both had movie versions. I think they'll be under the classics rule. At the moment, I'm gonna say Oedipus is a lock for revival.
Yeah.
Probably front runner to win, especially with Leslie Manville, such a front runner at actress, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Yep.
And then I'm going to also put in a bid for Marjorie Prime for revival right now. And just that's where I'm going to leave that, only because we also have Proof and Joe Turner's Come and Gone and Fallen Angels coming in the spring. And I feel like there's another one.
Death of a Salesman.
Death of a Salesman, right. So I think at the moment we've got 8 candidates for revival, which means there are going to be 4 nominees.
Right.
So with that we would have
Becky Shaw too. Will that be a revival?
Is that revival or original? I don't know much about
because
Becky
it
Shaw.
also, I was doing some research on it. It also had an off-Broadway run, I believe.
So I don't
How
know.
how long ago do we know that was?
I don't know. I was trying to categorize what was like off Broadway, like revival versus new, and it kept coming up that it was potentially going to be in revival.
It opened off Broadway in 2008.
Yeah,
That's long enough. That's
So, I don't know much about that show other than that's it.
Yeah.
Also, if Miss Shaw, if you're nasty, if she is deemed revival, then I guess that would be 9, and we would have 5.
And that's a lot of revivals. Then that's why.
That is absolutely the most stacked category of the season.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not stacked. The most packed. Stacked implies that they're all amazing revivals. We're packed with play revivals this year. But so if we do have 5, then I'm definitely calling Marjorie Prime. So Oedipus, Marjorie Prime. I would even put in a bid for Bug. Much as I found this production to be kind of just okay. I know the critical reception has been very strong. It is a solid play, and Carrie Coon is fantastic. We'll get to her in a second, but we'll see what happens with Proof and Joe Turner and Fallen Angels and Becker Shaw and Death of a Salesman even. Because if they're all great, then I think it'll be very easy for them to forget about Bug. I just think Bug is very divisive as a play, and this production's not a super compelling case for it. But what about you guys? What are of what you've seen?
Right now, we're probably going Oedipus too.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
we've only seen Art, Waiting for Godot, and Oedipus. So
I mean, listen, Art and Waiting for Godot, they made their money back. Good for them.
Yeah,
that is their reward.
Right. I don't think there was anything to write home about for either of those. They're both good plays, obviously, but I don't think these productions needed to warrant any sort of big Tony buzz. I don't think.
These productions weren't even terrible. I Waiting for Godot, I walked out going, that was less painful than I expected, but that wasn't great. And then Art, I was like, this wasn't terrible. It was just insanely missable.
Right. And moneymakers, clearly, right? So
they made their money. All right, so that's
seeing Art for the first time. So
it was his first time. So I was like,
Art is such a 90s play. It was this play that was such a huge deal for 1998, and it's one of those plays you see, and when you hear how popular it was, you go, that really was a pre 9/11 world, wasn't it?
Yeah, right.
But it's the kind of play that Big takes Carrie Bradshaw to in season 1 of Sex and the City.
That is spot on. Yes.
Yeah. And Carrie feels all cultured about it over brunch. All right, so we have play and play revival. Musical revival is also weird right now because it's just ragtime and chess, and we've got Cats, Jellicle Ball, and we've got Rocky Horror coming in the spring. And Mamma Mia is also eligible, and there's another one, right?
I guess Beetlejuice could be eligible for its third.
No, Beetlejuice isn't eligible. They didn't invite Tony people.
Got it.
Mamma Mia is eligible. They invited Tony people, especially because they did an eligibility ruling recently that did not include Beetlejuice, but it did include Mamma Mia, which they mentioned. What they said was the actress playing Donna is going to be considered lead, and which implies that the show is eligible. I mean, I don't think anything on the design or production standpoint. Right. So I think we're just looking at revival and actors. But
what do you feel if Titanic will be new or revival?
That's a big question we've had.
I think Titanic is going to be considered new.
Really?
I do.
I have a hard time understanding exactly what goes through the process with them because it just had such a long, successful off-Broadway run very recently. So that's why I don't know how they...
I think that not enough time has passed between it closing and it coming to Broadway. I think that it hasn't been optioned for licensing yet. I'm almost positive it hasn't. Right. And from what I understand, this production is going to be if not a replica, a similar vibe of the off-Broadway production. As I understand it, it's the same creative team. So it'll be like a Here Lies Love situation where it's everyone involved from off-Broadway is coming to Broadway and maybe expanding it, but it is the same DNA as off-Broadway.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think it's going to be considered new. But I think that's it for revivals, right? It's Chess, Ragtime, Jellicle Ball, Rocky Horror. There's another one. No, there's another one in there.
Oh, and then Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
Right. I think that's it. That's all we had down.
Yeah. So then we're looking at 3 nominees here.
3. Yeah. So, I mean, if I had to choose the 3, I mean, it'll be, if we took Mamma Mia out, let's just say, it could be Ragtime. I think Cats for sure. I think Ragtime for sure for nominee. I think those 2. And then it'll be between Chess and Rocky Horror. I don't really know if Rocky Horror is going to be this big groundbreaking thing or is it just going to replicate parts of the movie and kind of be a moneymaker and go home. I don't know. You know?
I'm going to go out on a limb. Unless Rocky Horror really shits the bed, unless it's just really fucking bad, I'm going to go ahead and say that Rocky Horror will get in over Chess.
Wow.
I do. Okay. I think that Roundabout has a really good relationship with the Tony Awards.
They do.
They don't always win, but they tend to get nominated.
Almost always get nominated.
Like Pirates.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror is an exciting property for sure. And similar to Art and Waiting for Godot, Chess is making money, and that's good enough for Tony people. They're like, oh, they don't need us. And I don't know how they'll all feel about it. The word I've been getting from people, my own opinions aside, has been divided. Some people are like, Chess was fun, but it was stupid. And people who are so, balls deep in love with Chess that saw this revival and were mad because it took the show so stupidly. But yeah, I don't think Chess is getting in. I think that they'll get a couple of outside nominations.
Yeah, maybe. I've heard that, and we're seeing it soon. And we've been waiting a while to see it, but I think it's just, I've heard everything from it's amazing to what is that? Because I feel like the music, and most people leave and say, oh, I love that music. And there's a few really great songs, of course, in that score. That's why people love that show in that way. But
yeah, I think I'm just going with the bold statement that Cats is winning, but that's it.
He really thinks
that's it.
He really thinks Cats is
Ooh, we're talking about winning now.
I know we're doing that part, but I'm like, hey, I just think that's winning. So good luck, revivals.
Yeah, it's do you want to have this chat now and then we can move on?
Because
it only has to be this category, but
I feel like
this category.
It seems like it's between Ragtime and Cats to win. That's what it seems like, right?
Yeah, okay. I really don't want to. I'm trying. I need to word this carefully because I don't want to. There may or may not be also some people involved with this Ragtime who are not super well liked in the community, and and so people are kind of looking for any reason to not vote for them. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah, okay. I hear you loud and clear.
I feel like you validate my bold statement.
Absolutely. That's why when you said that, I was like, oh, I didn't know we were allowed to talk about this. And so I'm trying to say it in as vague terms as possible, again, because these opinions that were given to me were not given under the guise of don't you tell anybody. But they also didn't say my name and say what I felt and why I'm feeling this way. I mentioned it in my review of Ragtime. You look in the playbill, and it says creative consultant Chris Catelli. That is one of 2 people that were heavily involved in helping get Ragtime opening night ready. And it's well known in the community that that's sort of what happened.
I mean, I feel like that's very like on the nose, because I also think that there was so many missed opportunities with this ragtime production. Listen, I think like a lot of people just like ragtime and they're happy that it's on Broadway, but like there was so many things that you could have done with this show.
Oh yeah, a lot of white people are happy to sit in that audience and feel like they're doing the work because they're at ragtime.
Well, I'm another. This could be a whole nother podcast conversation on the day, but scenery on Broadway and what's going on with scenic design on Broadway, and when some shows want to throw scaffolding up and a band on the scaffolding, call it a day, and some shows want to put lavish scenery like Queen of Versailles, and then some shows want to take the Vivian Beaumont Theater and treat it like a concert hall. I just feel like that was the opportunity to put a really great set up. And did it work without a set? Sure. But my biggest thing with this ragtime revival is this bare stage, put them down center, bare stage, and just put a different color on the cyc behind them. It seems so concerty to me. It didn't seem like that's what's really bothering me with this revival mostly. You know,
put Casey Levy in a Tampax commercial and call it back to before. That's absolutely what that moment is. And it's
like you couldn't have even just revealed the stage like Lincoln Center has done with all those Roger Hammerstein scores and showed us the orchestra for the overture or for like an entr'acte moment. Like even just give us something. Like there was nothing. There was just I
didn't mean for this episode to be a shitting on ragtime episode. Because I don't think this production is bad.
No, it's not bad.
I've made my issues with the musical Ragtime on its own made clear in my review. I think Ragtime is a very well made musical with a score that is like nonstop glorious, but also I find that show a little hollow. The revival did not do anything to fight me on that. I'll just say that. And like for every moment in this production that I thought was actually very well done, it was then followed up by a moment where I was like, well, that was missed.
Billy, I beg to differ with you. How do you mean? You're the top. Yeah. You're an arrow color. You're the top. You're a Coolidge dollar. You're the nimble tread of the feet of Fred Astaire.
Yeah. I have a feeling this is going to freeze again just because it said the error thing, but fuck it. All right. All right. So that's enough talk about Ragtime. I think that we should move on. But so revival, yes. At the moment, Ragtime is absolutely a lock. I am going to be a shitter and say Chess is not getting in.
Okay.
But that's to say, best musical, we've got 6 options this year. We only have 2 that have opened so far, Queen of Versailles and Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York.
Which we did see.
You did see. I'm going to go on a limb and say Two Strangers is in. It's probably the front runner right now. We'll see what happens with the other 4 musicals in the spring. But that's sort of where we're at. I think Queen of Versailles actually will get some nominations, but musical will not be one of them.
I agree with that. And I will say that every other show coming this spring is wildly different. Some are dark, some are really comedic. It's between Beaches, Titanic, Lost Boys, and Schmigadoon. Those are 4 of the most completely random titles of shows, you know?
And I was about to say, when you said some are dark, some are comedic, I was going to reply with, and some are beaches. Like, it's who the fuck knows what Beaches is going to be?
I don't know what to expect with that. I have a really low expectation bar. I know Wind Beneath My Wings will be a big hit. Jessica Vosk will be a big hit. I get that, but
yeah,
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
No one seems pumped for it to be coming in. It doesn't even feel like the women in it are pumped that it's coming.
And I also like, I can't, in my head, I'm like, the majestic. You know, like Kevin's not here. I'm like, the majestic. That's in my brain, the majestic. I just can't picture like that.
And
being
Titanic at
and St. James, these huge theaters these shows are going in. But I mean, maybe it'll work.
Yeah. The tea that I heard was that Beaches has the Majestic, I think, until September around that time, maybe a little longer than that. And they got it on a huge deal. They were already going on this tour. This is, you know, and so they're getting a really good price for it. But also the Schuberts needed something until September because supposedly that's where Dreamgirls is going.
I figured that.
That was my guess.
Yeah.
They needed to fill the rent. So
yes, exactly. And I think something's going into the St. James after Titanic. But
probably.
Yeah, because and again, that was another thing where they were like, what can we have come in that is okay just being here till Labor Day?
Which doesn't justify like this Tony season, because it feels like a Tony season. Like COVID backlogs ended. We're in this middle ground. Like, what do we want to do? Like, let's just kind of throw some paint on the wall, see if it sticks kind of thing. It just feels like that this year.
Yeah, I feel like this season is a lesson for everything that rushed their way to Broadway the last 3 years of maybe you should have taken that extra year to work on the show because, hey, look, you could have had a theater this year and you could have been a front runner.
Yeah. It's all about timing. We said that about Boop all the time. And, I mean, other things, I think Boop was in the wrong year. But...
Wrong year, wrong script.
Good, some decent score though. I liked some of that music.
I think Boop had 3 great songs, and the rest needed work.
Yeah.
Boop's score reminds me of Baker's Wife, where I was like, you had 3 bangers, and the rest could have had another draft.
Yeah,
but
I agree on that. Those same 3 songs I listen to frequently. I do love those 3 songs. I know which ones you're talking about.
Yes. But we digress. Let's now work our way back up. So we did the 4 biggies.
Yep.
Let's work our way down. Let's go down and work our way up. We have sound design of a play and musical.
Okay.
Here, I'll just say, I think that technical categories is where we might see Waiting for Godot in the spring, especially that play with set lighting and sound design. I think is a really solid option. I think that Oedipus will probably see for sound design as well. The fact that everyone sounds so crystal clear, but also all the the TV screens you sort of hear in the background and all that other minor stuff. I just think that's stuff that sound designers notice when they nominate, you know?
Agreed.
I think, Oedipus is my definitely
that's what I put
a shoe in there. There was a lot of things happening with the ear that we were both like, wow, yeah, there's definitely some.
Totally agree with that. And then I think, that's the one that just stands out to me too. And then, looking at some of the, I'm switching over to my sound design musical. I guess the 3 things we could talk about right now are Ragtime, Queen of Versailles, and Two Strangers. And I just put Two Strangers just because we actually had some slight sound issues with Ragtime. I personally, and we were in the orchestra, but I personally had some balance issues, not with literal design choices of ambient music, but I'm talking about like mics to orchestration balance blend at our performance. And we were at a performance quite a few weeks after opening. It wasn't like we were at a preview. So I thought that was a little jarring. I never heard that at Lincoln Center before, but that was just maybe a bad sound performance for us. But there was a few, I actually looked over a couple times at the sound booth, but are they good? Like that was just, I don't know if that was your experience.
The Beaumont is a really hard theater in general, and there are pockets where it just doesn't work. I don't know what it's about because I had heard such sound issues for Floyd Collins, and then I go see Floyd Collins, and I thought the sound design was impeccable when I went.
Yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, but that was something that people had complained about. Ragtime, I didn't have overwhelmingly bad issues with the sound so much as that the imbalance I felt was like I didn't actually think the orchestra sounded big enough. I actually felt that it was so voice forward that it felt like it was similar to Sweeney Todd, where it was like the orchestra sounds large, it just sounds a little far away. And that was my issue with it. But I'm sure that won't matter since Sweeney Todd won sound design 3 years ago, and I'm still throwing my shoe about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, why do we just like? Yeah, I think it was just a balance thing for me. But but that's why I put Two Strangers because
Two Strangers I think is a solid choice. Yeah. I am going to throw Chess out there. I think that the sound design for Chess, while it is loud, it is clear, and you do hear everything.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Imagine if I was like, guys, this is where Mamma Mia comes into play.
I think the one to watch will be when Cats goes.
I feel like Cats is gonna be like the Sinners one battle after another, where it's like once it comes in, it's like, well, how many nominations can it rack up? And then that just sort of fucks around with everybody else. But yeah, I think in terms of what's open right now, you guys will see Chess soon enough. But I think of what I've seen, Two Strangers and Chess would be the ones that I would put chips on for this category. Queen of Versailles, I actually think I felt the sound design was actually pretty solid for that show, but I think that's such an easy category to skip out on that it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and it's also this conversation of, which kind of leads into orchestrations. We could talk about that next if we want, is like, is it fair to say, oh, a show that has a 6-piece band is equal to sound designing a 23-piece orchestra? Is that fair? You know, and that's a whole nother conversation, because I've heard, like we're talking about Ragtime, this big full orchestra that doesn't seem well balanced, but then sometimes I hear these 6 or 8-piece combo bands that sound amazing. So like it's not about numbers per se always. You know, it's hard.
The assignment itself alters based on each production, but that's also kind of the game for nominations in general, right? Like we're talking about Ragtime versus Chess for Revival right now, and they're very different approaches to shows that have very different reputations.
Yeah.
And the fact that I prefer Ragtime over Chess, I think has a lot to do with that I respect Ragtime more as material, but I guess I'll give Chess props for making some bold swings, whereas Ragtime I do not think did make any really bold swings outside of a turntable, and I guess a framing device with Cole House's kid at the top of the show that never shows up again until the very end.
I said that. I know we're going back on Ragtime, but I say you have this awesome idea in the beginning. It's a cool directorial choice. Okay, that's cool. And then it's completely forgotten throughout the whole show, and no one realizes it because we're all like, look over there with the score, So
I think that he doesn't show up again because if you think about it too much, it's actually weird how much of this story this child is hearing. In the same way, like in the Heights movie, when you find out that Usnavi's telling this whole thing to his daughter and her friends in the bodega, and I'm like, oh, so they heard about Benny and Nina fucking. Like, it's like, how much of this story did you tell them, and how much of it is us seeing it? So that's sort of my thing. Like,
they cut to reminding us that this is a story told by a narrator in that way. This, my biggest pet peeve of a lot of directors are doing this lately on Broadway is you start with this cool idea or concept, and then we completely forget about it at the end, and it's happened I can name it quite a few times, and I'm like, just button it. We button numbers with lighting design choice. Why don't we button the story? Like, I don't know.
To Chess's credit, they remind you every 3 minutes that Bryce Pinkham is your narrator.
Okay,
they remind you every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
To the point that you start to resent Bryce Pinkham.
We like Bryce though, but
we loved him, and he's doing his damn best.
Okay.
So yeah, sound design, Oedipus.
Cool.
Two Strangers. I'm going to put in a bid for Chess. I'm going to put in a bid for Waiting for Godot. Just it's a Jamie Lloyd production, so ASMR is the headline here.
Yep. And then if we wanted to kind of go over to orchestration, I think there was only 2 right now eligible, which would be Two Strangers and Queen of Versailles. I don't think Ragtime or Chess has new orchestrations, right?
Chess, I think, has new orchestrations, or they're altered enough. Ragtime, I know they're using the original charts. I think it's a smaller orchestra than the original, but it's overall the same charts. I think Chess it's a different size band. There are songs that are in different places, so I do think I'm sure they're based off of OG stuff, but I believe it's new. So I think if those are the 3, then we'll have I'm sure Rocky Horror is going to be eligible for orchestrations. I have it on good authority that Jellicle Ball is doing some more stuff with the music this time.
Cool. And I thought that orchestration sounded great off
Broadway. It did. Well, they didn't do a ton with the orchestrations off Broadway. They would put in a little bit of a club beat, but as I understand it now, Andrew Lloyd Webber has given them further permission to fuck around and find out with the music.
Cool.
Go for it.
I'll take it. It has this I just thought the music was really great in that. So.
Oh yeah. No, it's I'll bring you guys back in like April, and we'll see where we feel about stuff.
I will say, I didn't mind the orchestrations for Queen of Versailles. I don't think all the songs are great in Queen of Versailles, but that's a pretty decent orchestra for a new Broadway show. I thought for Stephen Schwartz, orchestrations of his shows aren't usually bad. I think Wicked orchestrations are good, right? Yeah. So.
No, it's a 19-piece orchestra. John Clancy is really good at what he does.
Yep.
There are certain pockets of his orchestrations that I think about a lot. I mean, you can listen to Caviar Dreams on YouTube still, and I think what he does with that song really helps a lot.
Totally.
We'll put a pin in that as we get to score, because my thoughts on a possible orchestration nomination for them kind of hinges on the fact that they are going to get a score nomination, and I think people are not willing to accept that yet.
No, I get that. I mean, let's go over to score now.
Sure. So at the moment, our only 2 eligible scores are Two Strangers and Queen of Versailles, not counting any plays with original music, which I'm sure we've got a few that are going to happen. I wonder what might happen with Marjorie Prime. I wonder what's going to happen in the spring with stuff. But in terms of other musicals, it's Beaches and Lost Boys, and that's it, right?
Well, is Schmigadoon considered an original score? No, right? Because they were made for TV.
Yeah, I think Schmigadoon is going to fall in line with the same thing as Smash, where like, yes, it was written for this property, but in a different medium.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's an adaptation of a previously written score.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. I mean, I'm seeing. I wonder if Stephen Schwartz will be nominated for Queen of Versailles just because he's Stephen Schwartz and it was his first original show in 25 years, or whatever. Like, I don't know. Maybe they might throw the bone to him on that.
I think it's the fact that it's Schwartz. I think it's the fact that it's one of the few genuine original scores. They are recording, or they just recorded the cast album, so that'll be out around the time that nominators are starting to think about this, and there are worse scores than Queen of Versailles that got nominated in much more crowded fields.
Agreed.
I really hope they did 2 cast recordings, one with Kristen and one with Sherry.
I doubt that, but that would be kind of cool.
that would be absolutely awesome. I mean, they won't do this. If anything, I wish that they would give us like 2 bonus tracks of Sherry.
Yeah,
you know, when like
I mean, they should,
you know, when, like,
so they could see how many people actually listen to the Sherry recordings and see what they should have done.
Do you know what they should do? This is going to be so niche what I'm about to say, but I don't know if you ever listen to the original, like if you ever listen to like Little Shop of Horrors or Annie, they have like the bonus tracks at the end when it's like Alan Menken sitting at the piano singing on cut song, or like they do that with I think Charles Strauss, like they did with Annie, like and it's just like some muffly recording of them in a studio, and I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of cool if there was like, we're gonna throw this bonus track and it's like Sherry sitting with Steven just singing casually in the studio. Like that would be kind of cool, maybe. But,
yeah. Well, Grand Hotel has that too. If you ever listen to the cast recording for Grand Hotel, because David Carroll died before he could lay down his tracks, so they have a bonus track of him singing "Love Can't Happen" at some concert or cabaret somewhere.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's really nice. So yeah, it would be great if they had a bonus track of like Sherry's first. Listen, I can send them the audio. I have it of Sherry's Sherry's first performance singing that 11 o'clock number. You know, it's just so good.
Yeah,
I also have audio of her what was supposed to be her final show before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, now we lost the video. I hear you.
You guys are frozen again, but I can hear you.
We can hear you. Oh, we're good. Oh,
calm down.
We can hear you still, but our video. Oh my God, this is a hard.
I spoke too soon when I was texting you saying we never have a problem.
Oh my God. Well, we're connected still. This is not an internet problem now.
No, this
connects us to your video. It's check the cameras on and connected, and we refresh. Oh,
hello.
There we go.
Okay, we're back.
Yay.
Sometimes you just got to stick through it. Okay.
So,
so yeah, with score, I think that's what's going to happen with Queen of Versailles. I think that they are going to get that nomination from the recording, from the Schwartz of it all. I also do genuinely feel like there are songs in that show that work, and then there are other songs that obviously don't work. But I see a Women on the Verge trajectory where the show was trashed when it came out. I mean, in some ways, rightfully so. And then the recording comes out, everyone goes, oh, like out away from the mess of it all, there is something here worth listening to. And I think that also will help John Clancy's case for orchestrations. Whether he actually gets the nomination, who's to say, but I think that he has a better shot once they get that cast recording.
Totally.
Yeah. But I mean, Two Strangers at the moment is at the forefront just of the new scores we have.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with Lost Boys. I'm not even going to entertain the idea that Beaches is a true competitor here.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard a note of it.
I don't recognize the composer's name on it. So I don't know if they're new to the scene or.
Listen, we really don't like to have prejudice on things before they have a chance to prove themselves. Right. But just everything that I have heard of this show from every incarnation out of town, everyone who's involved with it being like, we're not even sure why we're coming in. It's just no one, even the people who are supposed to be vouching for this show are just sort of like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's so telling.
Excited.
I wonder if they're just relying on like the older generation who loves the 80s movie and Bette Midler to be showing up no matter what. Maybe there's that reliance, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you're sitting in the Majestic from far enough away in that wig, Vosk, you can pretend.
I said this. I said, please change the wig. Please. If there's anything from those production photos we have to learn is that original wig is not it.
No. Raggedy Ann in a Power Rangers jacket. Like that's what it looks like.
Even Jessica herself, thank God she's going to finally originate a leading role on Broadway. Like, that's cool. Like, I've been waiting for this day for her. So that, if it's this, then take it where you can get it.
Exactly. What can you do with this opportunity down the line? That's what we want to ask Miss Bosk. But I saw that wig and I went, if ever there was an argument of why the Tonys need a best wig category, it's to show everyone that this is not a nominee.
Yep. Yes, I would agree with that for sure. I guess we could transition over to costumes if we want now.
Yeah, let's do it. Costumes.
Costumes of a musical. I mean, we have Linda Cho for Ragtime, Christian Cowan for Queen of Versailles, and then Sotra Gilmore for Two Strangers. Those are really the three going right now, except Chess again we haven't seen, but I don't know. I know it's a lot of all black, right?
If Chess were to get a costume design nomination, that really would be we don't know. It's Listen, there's a lot about Chess that I do not like, but if I'm going to give them their roses anywhere, it is not costume design,
right.
where Leah Michelle is basically wearing a black jumpsuit the entire show.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I'm a big fan of Linda Cho's designs. I've always liked what she did for costumes, and I think that she's probably the front runner for Ragtime, because I think one of the best parts of Ragtime is those costumes. I think
the costumes do a lot of heavy lifting. Yeah. She is well liked. I think she's won twice now.
Yeah.
And it's also a period show. I think that she has a good shot. My question is I hate to bring up, Jellicle Ball again, because who knows? But I have a deja vu of 2022 when Six won costume design over period shows like Music Man and Paradise Square.
We talk about this all the time. Yep.
Yeah, because obviously, more contemporary designs have a hard time getting in. Hell's Kitchen getting a nomination is sort of this random anomaly, but something like Six, which is its own world but very hyper specific and really sells it, I wonder if something with Jellicle Ball, if that will help it.
I will also say, and I know this has nothing to do with it, but I will bring this up because there's a part of me that says when you design 6 costumes for the musical Six plus 4 for the band, right? Because they had so maybe it's 10 or 12 costumes. But then that same year in the Music Man, you must have designed 100, over 100. I mean, so to me, it's not about the number. I totally understand that, but I have a hard time sitting here and saying don't you? I know, yes, they have associates and assistants that are helping them with all these designs when they have massive designs. I just think to me, it does come down to that a little bit. Maybe that should be. If I was a Tony voter, I would consider the number of costumes up there.
I would equate that, Richie. I would equate that, Richie, with you fed 100 students Kraft mac and cheese. They're fed, but it's Kraft mac and cheese. Meanwhile, these 5 students got filet mignon.
I know, but
it's not.
You can't tell me
it's custom design.
I know
the design,
but you can't tell me that those costumes in Music Man and those Pickle Little Lady hats and all that aren't gorgeous.
They're
what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
You're saying that I can't tell you that?
No, I'm saying I'm saying
you won't hear it.
Yeah, I don't think that's Kraft mac and cheese, the Music Man costume. That's what I'm saying.
They look great, but in terms of design, I think Six was more inventive in the design.
I get that. And that's why I'm when I look at Two Strangers, I'm I don't know if we're going to really, right? That's what I'm trying to say, right?
So, but the one to watch is Jellicle Ball, because you're taking ball culture and marrying it with a
cats.
feline cat look that is designed really well. Right. So, I mean,
I'm also going to say, keep an eye out for Rocky Horror. Let's see what they do with those Transylvanians.
Schmigadoon is a period piece. We'll see what happens with Schmigadoon.
I was going to say, I think Schmigadoon is a wild card in a lot of these categories, specifically costume and orchestrations and choreography. But,
yes, choreography for
sure.
But score, if this all comes down to, no, we're on costumes now. Let's move into choreography now. Let's do that. At the moment, we've got Chess, Ragtime, and Two Strangers eligible. In the spring will be Rocky Horror, Schmigadoon, Lost Boys, Beaches, Titanic, and Jellicle Ball. Again, I feel like I'm showing my hand a little bit. I'm just already calling out Jellicle Ball and Schmigadoon as nominees in this category.
Totally.
I'm also going to go out on a limb and say Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Having not seen a fucking frame of anything from that show, just the fact that there's aerial work in it. I'm I'm sorry, it's giving me Water for Elephants vibes, where I'm just the fact that you can combine the two, and if they do it even remotely well, it's getting in. So then it becomes, I think I think that's 9 contenders then, because it's Queen of Versailles, Two Strangers, Chess, Ragtime, Beaches, Titanic, Schmigadoon. It's gonna be at least 9, so we'll have 5 contenders.
Yep.
So I'm looking at Schmigadoon, I'm looking at Lost Boys, I'm looking at Jellicoe Ball. So then we got 2 more.
I think I put Ragtime as of now because out of Queen of Versailles and Two Strangers, Ragtime has more choreo in terms of what I think Eleanor Scott did with the choreo in that. And there's not much choreo in Ragtime, but there's movement. There is some dance breaks ish a couple times, and
they move around in those circles in the opening number.
I was gonna say there's a lot of walking.
There's a lot of right.
There's a lot of walking on that donut.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Ragtime in there for now, with the little asterisk of come find me in the spring and we'll talk and we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
Because I also think Sam Pinkleton, I think, is such a really smart choreographer, and I don't know what he's going to do with Ragtime, but there's a possibility that can happen.
Or Rocky Horror.
Yeah, for Rocky Horror.
Titanic doesn't really have like a lot of choreo from what I remember.
It has a lot of movement in the same way that Ragtime does. It's I would call it more, there is choreography, but it's less showy and more just sort of how it fits with the direction. I actually think the staging and choreography for Titanic is very clever and works really well and well integrated. Could happen. People always talk about having most choreography. I talk about it a lot too, and I do think that helps with winning most of the time, but I don't think that every show that has most choreography gets in for a nomination. There's usually 1 or 2 slightly more interesting nominees in there that never win, but like get in there. And that's where I feel like Titanic could possibly come. That's where if Rocky Horror has enough movement, that can go in. I am going to keep Ragtime over Chess.
Okay. Because there's choreo in Chess, right?
There is choreography in Chess. But how many Lauren Lataro shows have been ignored at this point?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely convinced that Chess is going to break that trend for her.
Okay.
Your fave.
Wow, you made him speechless, Jeff. Wow. I can't believe it.
I'm very aware.
I thought there was some cool bubble popping moments in Heart of Rock and Roll. That was her too, right? That was kind of some cool.
She did do Heart of Rock and Roll. I liked the idea of that number. I did not like the execution of that number.
And I will say, I did like the choreo in Tommy. I know Tommy was a little bit of everything. I didn't mind her choreo in that. I will, in some parts.
The people I know who were in Tommy loved doing that choreography.
Okay, that's cool.
And so I'm like happy you're happy.
Yeah.
My issue with her choreography in Tommy, it's my issue with her choreography in general of just like, she goes too big too soon, and there's nowhere for the numbers to go after that.
Right.
And so everything gets sloppy at like a minute in. Yeah. And Tommy, I remember watching, just going like from the jump, people were doing backflips. It's like, we're starting here? Where can we go now? But that's also how I felt about Tommy in general as a production. So in a lot of ways, she did match the energy Des wanted her to match. So she did her assignment. But like that whole 30 minutes into Tommy, I just plateaued and was like, oh sorry, I plateaued and I was like, I'm overwhelmed now. There's too much happening.
Yeah, there was a lot going on with that show.
But you'll see with Chess. I mean, Aaron Tveit does a line of coke off of a dancer's leg.
It was also like so loud, and I was not sitting up close. I was like, this is really loud. Like, and I'm usually pretty okay with that for the most part. That was so loud.
For the Who's Tommy?
Yeah.
Which I same thing with Chess. With Choose.
Chess.
Every year there's a show or two that I've decided that I'm just gonna start saying their names weirdly. Last year it was Smoosh, and this year it's Choose.
I love it. The one word titles too.
No, yeah, it's always, it seems to be the Imperial Theater always. A musical at the Imperial that's one word, Choose.
Yeah. All right, where are we bopping to next? We did
let's go back to some design categories. Let's look at we haven't really done costume design of a play. That's a little harder right now, but let's combine costume design of a play with lighting design for both.
So lighting costume of a play. So for plays,
I think we can see Liberation for costume design.
Totally put that as my number one.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see in the spring what happens. I don't know what the design situation is like with Giant, what's going to happen with Fallen Angels, but those are more period shows. Period shows tend to do well in general, especially
and Liberation. Here's a moment where I wish there was a wig nomination, because those wigs in Liberation were insanely good.
Oh my god, loved them.
Yeah,
like every one. I was like, this is such impeccable design. I swore I was in the 70s with them, like just the way they were.
I think of everything that we've seen, probably Liberation's my only one to like remember.
Not even Oedipus?
I mean,
for costumes.
I thought Jeff was talking overall, like in
no, for costumes.
Oh, fantastic. Great. I was like, Jeff, I was like, how dare you leave Oedipus off your list of things that left an impression on you? Yeah, no, costume.
No, just for costumes. Out of all the plays that we've seen, I think we have so many coming that they're going to be the ones that are remembered. And like Liberation might be the only one that I think would still be a contender.
No, I think, agreed. I think in the spring we have Joe's Turner's Come and Gone to look forward to, Giant, Death of a Salesman, Fallen Angels. We'll see what the situation is with Dog of the Afternoon, but that's another 70s piece. So
all period stuff. Yeah, it'll be very tight, that category.
Yeah,
and then I guess bopping over to lighting of a play, the same thing. I think Oedipus lighting was amazing, and it's still in my brain. The last scene. Spoiler alert for y'all listening. The last scene. After the moment.
Okay.
There was something about thinking that the play was over when it wasn't, and doing that flashback and seeing that like beautiful angelic sunrise light. It sticks in my mind. I can still see it right now. I don't know what that with him running towards her in the final moment before the blackout. That was incredible lighting to me. I just thought that was so well lit, that show.
Yeah, Jeff, Oedipus was really good. I don't know why it's not on your list.
I always say Oedipus. Sometimes I say Oedipus.
Well, we've all been saying Oedipus, and then this is the production that's been calling it Oedipus.
I know.
I think that Oedipus is my one to remember here for lighting. I don't know if I would probably think any of the others are going to get remembered for lighting either.
I think there's a chance for Waiting for Godot. I feel like Waiting for Godot could be the Grey House of, it was earlier in the season, and it'll get 2 nominations, sound and lighting. Or set, who knows. But yeah, I think Oedipus I would consider pretty much a lock. I would also say Punch and Waiting for Godot possible nominations. There's a world in which Punch gets completely forgotten in the spring, and I would not begrudge the Tony nominators that. I would understand why that is, but I don't want anyone to feel like that means that everything about Punch was bad. There are things about Punch that were quite good.
Right.
And I think the lighting helped a lot.
I do think it will be forgotten though when it comes
probably
to it.
I'm probably
Maybe some of the lighting from Liberation, but I did have some issues sometimes with the back and forth between like when you're supposed to realize what part of the timing that they're in. I didn't always think it matched with what they were trying to show. So that's why I would say, maybe.
Yeah, I think the lighting in Liberation is probably the weakest thing for me. That and all the cigarette smoke, but
yeah.
And on the musical front, it's Chess, Two Strangers, Ragtime, and Queen of Versailles. Those are our contenders at the moment. I'm gonna put a note in for Two Strangers and for Ragtime.
Agreed.
So Ragtime, I will say the lighting for me did so much heavy lifting.
It held the whole show together. I'm sorry, other than the performances. I mean,
yeah, but because like the set was a nothing burger, and like while I enjoyed the costumes, they weren't as helpful in sort of with the storytelling for me. As I said, a lot of people were wearing the same costumes throughout, so it was hard to get a sense of timeline of what was going on. And lighting, I thought, was so helpful in terms of just focus, and also I think did a lot of heavy lifting with some of the staging. Like it's numbers that were a park and bark or were just people walking across the stage were elevated by the color and the mood and just helping you to see where everything went. And that was very impressive to me, especially because as I mentioned before, lighting had to go through a major overhaul during tech. They had to make a lot of changes really quickly, and so the fact that they were able to get it here by opening night, I think, is very impressive.
Even the floor, not that the floor color matters always, although of course for lighting designers it was like a big black floor. You have to light these costumes on like a black surface as well. I mean, there's all these even the mesh that would come down and hang, and I said this in my episode too, like the fact that we can see the seam lines in the mesh, I'm like, what are we? And now how does a lighting designer hide that? Like, I feel for the Ragtime lighting designer.
Okay. Those hanging meshes that looked like they came straight from the bogs. I don't.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe that. Like they even look like wrinkled. I'm like, are we good? Like, are we good here at Vivian Beaumont? Like.
Straight from the swamp.
Yeah. Anyway.
They just came in and I was thinking, a big, bright, beautiful world.
Very track, yes.
Yeah.
Very track.
I mean, I probably would put Ragtime in the middle of like it could get nominated, maybe not. And then I definitely think Two Strangers will probably get the nomination.
Yeah. I think if there's a surprise here, it would be Chess, which similar to Ragtime, because the set is such a nothing burger for me, the lighting has to do a lot. But I don't think that the lighting in Chess is as intricate as with Ragtime. Like Chess, it's more sort of like bold color over the entire stage the entire time. And then Ragtime, I do think there's more detail-oriented lighting happening. If I had one major complaint about the lighting with Ragtime is that it is often quite dimly lit, but that's also, as Richie was saying, it's a black stage, and it's really hard to make everything light up on a black stage.
Yeah, I get it. So it's tough.
And I think somewhat, I did get a little preview of what the scenic design is going to look for Lost Boys, and I can only just imagine what the lighting's going to be like in that show. So that's probably my one that I'm most excited to see.
Set and lighting for the spring. I'm not even going to entertain anything just because I have an idea of what could happen, and I just at the moment that way lies madness for me. So while we have been pontificating on the future for some categories, lighting and set for musicals right now, I can't even entertain it right now.
All of this is going out the window as soon as we see it all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I would say for set design, if there's one thing that I am absolutely staking my claim on, it's Queen of Versailles.
Yes,
that's gonna get a scenic design nomination.
I really think so because it was incredible, and Dane Laffrey's awesome in what they did with that. And I just thought it was just.
He brings you every Jellicle ball, Richie.
Well, and I also feel like the thing with Queen of Versailles too is I was seeing so many videos of the bows, so I knew what the set looked like at the end before I saw it. So that was kind of a spoiler for me. So when I saw the curtain rise at the beginning, or that, Victorian wall rise, and I saw all this scaffolding, so I'm like, oh, the actual set's back there, and this crew has to like strike all that at some point to reveal. So I just thought the set was very cool for that. It was
I also had seen the final product at a curtain call, but the fact that the reveal at the end was still made an impact for me, I think is testament to the design of that show. I also will say with Queen of Versailles, in terms of costume design, we know that William Ivy Long was like a ghost costume designer on that show. And I don't know how nominators are going to feel about that. So that's something else where like, I think it could happen, especially because I think people forget that show has a lot of period costumes in it.
Right.
Yeah.
In addition to very specific semi-modern costumes for Jackie. So it still could happen. But if it doesn't get nominated, I think that there are nominators who are going to feel icky about putting one in for someone who is not officially William Ivy Long, but we all know is William Ivy Long.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, if we really want to sit here and consider nominating the door frame for Ragtime that comes out as a whole mansion, I mean, give me a break, right? Like, absolutely not.
And the swamp.
The mesh.
And the swamp netting.
And that poofy thing behind Casey and
the Tampax commercial. It looks like she's in front of a giant maxi pad.
Yeah, that was lit beautifully again.
But then they light it red, and you're like, now we're in fucking Carrie. Plug it up.
Like, isn't she? I don't know if she's technically on the beach in Atlantic City singing that song. I think technically she might be.
That's usually where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, but you could have lit it like the ocean blues, and I know in red, and I'm like, I don't know. Everything to me.
Not scenic design.
Yeah,
I did like the scenic design of Two Strangers, though. I thought it was kind of cool and inventive of a different way of using the turntable. Bringing the things out of, the luggage was kind of cool. So like, I don't know. I wouldn't like write it off just yet.
I think they have a really good shot at that. Again, I'm not entertaining spring options right now, but in terms of what we have in this moment, I think that Queen of Versailles and Two Strangers are absolute contenders for nominations.
Yeah.
Queen of Versailles, just the massiveness of it that I also felt never went too much. Like for a show that was so big, and I know a lot of people thought had not a lot of focus, I thought it didn't have a lot of focus. The design always made sense to me. And Two Strangers, I also think that set design was very creative. Maybe not the most attractive when you got into the theater, but then when you saw what it was doing throughout the performance, that was very well done for me. The fact that I'm such a slut for a turntable and I'm not here vouching for Ragtime.
I love turntables so much because I feel like you could literally put a turntable into anything and somehow it works in some moment in some way. I love them.
The number of shows where I just went, a turntable could be really useful here right now. Waiting for Godot, turntable, you know?
I will also say, like, I wasn't around in the 80s when the original Les Mis, but our elders of the world would tell us that was a really groundbreaking thing to put a turntable in Les Mis was a big deal for people. I remember hearing people say that.
Because with Les Mis, it was a 3-part turntable is the thing. It's what what Hamilton has is what Les Mis had.
Yes.
And Les Mis, I think you can watch some of the original staging on YouTube. I know every bootleg alive of Les Mis is available somewhere. And I had seen the original production as a kid, and then again when I was a teenager. And that staging remains one of the greatest stagings.
It's incredible. I think that staging is brilliant. Yeah. But I think turntables, that's the saving grace of Ragtime. And it almost felt like we don't want to put any money into any scenery, but let's just put a turntable in. Like that's what it felt like those conversations were like.
It's more of a donut though, because the center doesn't move. It's just the outer rim. And for every time that I thought that donut was used well, again, it's like they would have one number and went, oh, that was really good use of the donut. And then the next number I was like, oh, that's not how the donut should be used here. But
agreed. So, all right.
Yeah, but no, the door frame for Ragtime ain't getting nominated. not when we got Queen of Versailles and its massive set, and we have Two Strangers that uses simplicity and a turntable really effectively. And then we've got stuff in the spring that's just really gonna fuck with our brains.
Oh yeah. And then
yes.
Oh, I was gonna say scenic design of a play. We can go there.
Yeah. Talk to me, boys.
All right, let me go to that. Hold on, turning the page. Here. I put Oedipus for this too. I think that there's some cool stuff going on with that in those huge doors that moved and the different entrances on different levels. And I just like the glass and the use of, it was a very sterile environment at the same time, but I think that totally worked and it helped pop the costumes and the blood at the end and all that. I think there was just pop because of the sterileness of the space.
Yeah, I think Oedipus is definitely a contender there.
Oh, yeah. No, Oedipus is absolutely a contender. Oh, I also meant to say, in terms of lighting, Little Bear Ridge Road, I would not be surprised if that got in. That had some really gorgeous lighting for what was a very sparse set.
Agreed.
Yeah. You guys will see with Bug. I think Bug is going to get a set nomination. There's a really there's a really big shift that is very impressive. Mm-hmm. And just because I don't know what the rest of the spring will look like. But yeah, I'm going to say Oedipus and Bug for sure. I wouldn't even be surprised if something like Marjorie Prime got in for set design, which is, maybe not elaborate, but it's very detail oriented. It's a home set and it's very detail oriented. It does have a surprise in there towards the end. And I feel like with set design, especially with plays, they either go for really bold concepts like a Waiting for Godot where you're like basically in the tree, or they go for a super highly detailed set like a Marjorie Prime,
Totally.
I agree with that.
I mean, I also think like, I'm looking at some other things from the season, like art was kind of cool, but it wasn't really like anything nomination wise, but at least we had some like,
blue.
Yeah. And Liberation, I know the lighting. I didn't mind that like side light wall. That was kind of cool to see in the basketball hoop and all in the setting of this, like the detail work in the gym and stuff. It was kind of cool, but I mean, we
talked about a lot of the details that were in the set of Liberation.
The bleachers and all that. It was kind of cool, but also it wasn't really a utilized set. It was just kind of like, it could have been a backdrop, sure, because they didn't really use much of it other than chairs downstage the whole time, but.
I do see a world where Liberation gets nominated for that set, again, because it's so highly detail oriented, but if it doesn't, I'm not surprised. Yeah. I'm not confident enough to put a chip down and say, hey guys, remember this for the spring. But if I'm wrong about that, I'll be like, I understand why I was wrong.
Yeah, we're in a tough situation here. 11 plays are coming, so I think like Oedipus is the strong one that I would say would still, let's remember that for.
I mean, the balusters at Manhattan Theater Club in the spring, watch that be the most beautiful, elaborate design we've ever seen, and Renee Lee Scoldsberry is coming out in like a 17th century dress.
Right. Exactly. So you never know.
Okay. Let's look at book of a musical. Mm-hmm. We only have 3 candidates right now as of this winter. We have Two Strangers, we have Queen of Versailles, and we have Choose. I'm
going to go. Just had a new book, right?
Yes, a brand new book by Danny Strong. So that's eligible, and we have had revivals with new books be nominated. Mm-hmm. We've had Douglas Carter Bean for Cinderella, David Henry Hwang for Flower Drum Song.
Yep.
I think those are the only two of the last 40 years that's happened. And then Hugh Wheeler, I know, won for his book for Candide. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that Danny Strong is not going to get nominated for Choose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things about that.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is that the book was never confusing to me.
Okay.
That said, every minute since I have seen Chess, I have forgotten more and more what happened on the political end of that script.
Okay.
But when I was in the theater, I wasn't confused. I just didn't care. And then since I've left, I've just forgotten most of it.
Yeah.
I just think that the arbiter narration sucks. But also, yeah, that is a very divided thing, because I spoke to a voter who actually thought that the narration was good and funny and clever. And I was like, you liked the RFK brainworm joke?
Oh,
And-
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You liked the jokes about Biden and Trump? And he was like, well, and I went, okay, here we are.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Here we are.
I mean, I feel, and that's why I feel like I think Two Strangers could definitely get some, at this point anyway, could get something that's some clever writing. I think some of the jokes are really funny in that at times.
Yeah, I don't dislike the book of Two Strangers. My two biggest issues with it, which I guess are rather fundamental, are I do think it's too long. I think the show is too long for the story it's trying to tell, and I don't buy the romance at the end.
I don't buy the romance at the end either. I agree with that. And everyone's like, so many people I know who saw it were like, but it's so cute. It's so cute. I'm like, that's great. It's cute. I don't also think that it's perfect. Like, I have the two things I have a problem with is, okay, I've said this on my podcast too. I feel like it's a light, loose plot of Elf. Like, he comes to the city to look for his dad, and everyone does, and he's got this cheery, like, right? I mean, sorry, it feels so Elf to me. And I'm like, he's like this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid who loves New York, and they're all like, all right, relax, it's New York.
Yeah.
And he's looking for his dad.
And he grows up at the end, and yeah.
So I don't know if that's purposely done or not, but there was that. Also, I'm like so hung up on the cake, and just like the whole, like, they're not carrying a cake across New York the whole time, like the title implies.
Mhm.
And also, I've never seen a wedding cake in 4 boxes where one would fall off. I've never seen a cake transported like that in my life. So I don't know.
I guess it's something I the way I viewed it was, and this was me doing heavy lifting for a show that did not help itself, but I would imagine that it was the situation was the tiers were separate and were going to be assembled on the day. But also, like, I've never heard of that before.
Never. A baker would maybe transport it like that. Also, if the dad's mega loaded with Amex cards galore and they're blowing all this money, they couldn't afford a cake to be put together and transported. Like, I'm not understanding the and I know that this is a musical, right?
But yes, people are like, but it's cute. You know what's also cute? Paddington 2, and that is an hour and 40 and airtight and perfectly written.
I'm hearing that it's incredible.
Well, I'm not even talking about Paddington the musical. I'm talking about Paddington 2, the movie.
The movie, I see.
I'm looking forward. I can't speak on the musical yet. By the time this episode comes out, I will have seen it. My life will have changed for good. But
I think it will, because every single person who I know has gone from all ends of the earth have said that they've been changed by Paddington the musical. So
I can't wait. I'm going to cry from start to finish. But
yeah,
Paddington
probably.
2 film, Richie, is
Okay.
a perfectly written screenplay, and it's an hour and 40 minutes, and it's just so fucking cute.
Okay, it's on the list.
So
putting it on the list.
watching it.
I haven't even seen the first one. Full disclosure. I know.
The first one is delightful. The second one is perfect. I can't even explain it. But
I love Paddington.
Two
Okay.
Strangers, Two Strangers for me is a perfect example of sort of how musicals kind of work, which is if something works for you, all of the flaws don't really matter because the overall impact is so strong. And if it doesn't work for you, all you see are the flaws.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
that was good.
yeah, and Two Strangers is a musical that I enjoyed mostly, but I had to work hard to get there. And it overall did not impact me in a way where I was able to let go of the issues. And I think that the show just does have issues.
That's nail on the
And-
head. Exactly. Yeah.
The thing that I can't begrudge the show is like the fandom of it is such that when you try to bring up this stuff, the fandom is like, no, it's perfect, it's brilliant, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm like, okay, well then we're done here. And now I'm actually kind of hating the show because
I agree.
Yeah.
You're like taking the words right out of my
But
mouth.
that's why
exactly
I
what
said,
feel.
like, when we were talking about Two Strangers, I was saying this will become the cult musical of the season because it will create this cult fan base that just loves it no matter what.
Mhm.
And like, it's fine, but like if this was last season, the show would not be doing the same thing
Mhm.
at all.
the show would have closed by now if this were last season.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
and would not be remembered at the Tonys probably at all. And it's not that because the show was just so good. It's because, I mean, last season was a very dense season of musicals. And the reason why Two Strangers is kind of keeping itself open right now is, I know that it's relatively cheap to run, especially in the grand scheme of how expensive everything is right now. They have figured out a budget that they're able to kind of keep going for a while. And because they're looking at the spring, and unless Lost Boys or Titanic or Schmigadoon really kind of nails it, they have a really good shot at winning the big awards, and they can run for a year and make their money back and call it a day.
Right.
But it's
it's really like piggybacking off of like the Maybe Happy Ending as well.
1000%.
So it's like right place, right time for this show.
Yeah, no, they're very fortunate with their timing. But yeah, I think that they have book at the moment locked and loaded. I feel like Titanic is so stupid, and I don't know if enough voters will sign off on the stupidity of it. But I don't see how the fans of Shucked and the fans of And Juliet can see Titanic and then not fall in love with Titanic.
Yeah.
So I know we're kind of being loose about how much we're talking about the spring right now, but like I'm looking at Titanic going, I know, I think that, or even Schmigadoon like could come in and eat up Two Strangers.
Totally.
Lunch.
I think Schmigadoon has a chance. I thought there was some great dialogue in the script. If they're going to take the Apple TV script and just expand it, I know it just had an out of town in Kennedy Center too, and maybe they're even doing more from that. But I just feel like Schmigadoon there's like a heart to Schmigadoon, and there's like a message to be said about it. I think if they wanted to really expand on that more with some book writing, unless they just keep it really surfacey, like this is a silly spoof on Golden Age, I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. I wonder if once we have more musicals playing in the spring, if the luster of Two Strangers being the only viable candidate of the winter will dim a bit for people. Agreed. I wonder. Yeah. Something to consider. I mean, as of right now, yeah, like it's score, book, musical, it's like locked in those nominations. What happens later, we'll see. But that's where we're at for that.
And I will say at this point, though, too, that it hasn't really got to the level of what Maybe Happy Ending was doing by now.
Oh, no. That's the thing. People talk about Maybe Happy Ending of, well, they were struggling up until the Tony Awards. I'm like, no, they were struggling all through previews and then like the first month of their run. But also you look at the grosses for Maybe Happy Ending, and it always kept going up. Maybe not by hundreds of thousands of dollars every week, but like every week it would go up enough that there was momentum going. And so they were in a safe space by New Year's. And Two Strangers really only has had 2 money-making weeks since it opened.
Yeah, right. This week will be telling now that the holidays are over too.
Absolutely. And while they got decent reviews, they did not get the reviews that Maybe Happy Ending got. Right. Outside of their critics' pick, no one really raved about the musical. Right. It's again, as you were saying, Richie, it was a lot of like, it's cute. It's cute. Yeah.
But and that's all I can keep saying, and I'm like, I don't know what else to say about it.
But that's what I've been saying about it. But it's more in response from people go, it's so charming. I respond with, no, it's cute. There's a
right. It's cute. It's like a Disney Pixar movie on steroids, kind of.
A little bit. Okay, so let's look at direction, both play and musical.
Cool.
Which one first?
I'll say musical first, just because I do think that Two Strangers will get nominated here as well.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I do think Ragtime in director, at the moment, I'm going to say a nomination, but it is so not locked, and I really don't know how to tell people how not locked it is.
I can't remember if Lear was nominated for Into the Woods.
She was.
I feel like here's what I'm going to go out on the limb and say. I would like to see her not get nominated in this category, because I feel like a lesson kind of needs to be made and say like, hey, you can be this great person at Lincoln Center, but hire directors.
Yeah. Or not. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Like, don't
hire directors for the shows
and be artistic directors still.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder how much word has gotten out about the rehearsal and tech process for Ragtime.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it has, that does damage her chances. Because they are not good stories about her, not as a person or as a director.
Yeah, I'm sure those stories are out from what I've heard.
Yeah. And I really I don't want this to be like a Lear bashing podcast.
No.
I've said this before. I think what Lear DeBessonet has in spades is I think she's got really great taste in material. She picks really good stuff.
She does pick good stuff.
I think her first season at Lincoln Center Theater has proven to be a successful one with Ragtime and Kyoto and Amal and the Night Visitors. Like, I think she picks good stuff. I don't think she is a director.
And also saying, too, kind of going over to Mark Arden with Queen of Versailles, he's almost always been nominated, and he's won a few times now, a couple Tonys. And so this could be an opportunity where maybe he's nominated for Lost Boys and not Queen of Versailles. I don't envision him getting a nomination for Queen of Versailles.
No, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Mayor's happening for Chess either, for Choose. I don't, that's just not happening. I think that what's helping Lear's case right now is that Two Strangers and Ragtime are just really the only viable options of the winter. It's possible, like, again, we can have like a Gypsy situation where it gets the revival nomination, but not the director nomination.
Right. Yeah. Right. Very true. And then, all right, well, let's see what director of a play holds up to here.
Also, I feel like we're saying this now, and then they'll get all these nominations in the spring, and we're going to be labeled as such haters, and we're not.
And it's just so hard when the way the season falls, because again,
we'll always be labeled as haters.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's more sort of, I always want people to kind of be on their guard of, just because something seems so obvious now, you don't know what's going to happen in the spring, and if anything, I more kind of just want to emphasize the stories that have come out about that process. That is really more than anything what I feel like will be a deterrent. But we move on from there. Okay, so we did choreography, we did book, score. I think now we just have the performances, right?
Well, we have director of a play still.
Oh, director of a play, yes.
So Call Me As the Art, Punch, Waiting for Godot, Little Bear Ridge Road, Liberation, Oedipus.
Call Me Izzy, right? It's with the bullet.
Please don't even get me started on that. I did not.
No, it's Jean Smart should be given a Nobel Peace Prize for the fucking Herculean effort she did.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Liberation and Oedipus.
Yep.
Those are my locks right now. I am wondering with Little Bear Ridge Road, because Mantello's got Salesman in the spring, and if Salesman works, that would be his nomination.
I think there's a high chance it works because of Nathan and Lori on it. I think there's a really high chance that it works, but I don't know. Because that show has done a lot.
It's in such a big theater.
Yeah.
It's in a big theater. And I also just really kind of wish we were getting that Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Don't we all wish it was just that?
Jeff has yet to see the movie, and I still think the Liz Taylor performance in the movie, I know, is like one of the greatest Hollywood. I'm trying to get him to watch the movie, which is brilliant. And I wasn't one of the couple hundred people that saw one of the 4 previews of it before it closed and shipped out here with COVID, but I just love that script so much. I think that's a great play, but anyway.
I do think Oedipus and Liberation are probably like 2 that are the big contenders there. Do you think they're going to leave out Jamie Lloyd?
Yes! My God, why is that even a question?
I'm just saying. Do you think they're going to leave him out? I'm just saying.
They're going to leave him out. Absolutely, they're leaving him out.
Yeah. And I don't really see like Scott Ellis for art getting nominated for. There's nothing really much going on with that.
No, that ain't happening either. Exactly. I think the only Oedipus and Liberation, I think, yes, the only ones right now that I think we can entertain the idea of would be Marjorie Prime and Little Bear Ridge Road. I'm not even gonna say Bug. I think that Cromer, while he's super well liked, this is not his best work. And again, in the spring we've got Every Brilliant Thing, Giant, Dog Day Afternoon, Becky Shaw, Death of a Salesman, Proof, Fallen Angels, The Ballisters, Joe Turner's Come and Gone.
So many plays. I know.
And I'm sure many of them are going to be perfectly mediocre, but we just need 3.
Right.
And so Giant, I think is happening because it's so well regarded from London. They love the British imports. It's Nicholas Heitner's directing it. He's very well liked. If Salesman works, I think that's where Mantello gets in. Proof, we'll see. I don't have a lot of faith.
The only thing I can say is it's Tommy Kail directing, so maybe
what gives me faith is that Proof is a good play and the casting is really strong. Kale does not
I
inspire a
will
lot of
say that
confidence in me.
him not being nominated for the direction of Sweeney Todd was a snub. I thought that was a snub.
You thought it was a snub.
That he didn't even get a nomination for the direction of Sweeney, personally.
Why do you think that was a snub?
Oh, we could go on and on about this.
Why did we speak so much about Lear with Ragtime, and yet Tommy Kail gets
I
a
think
pass
there
for
are
Sweeney
just
Todd?
certain moments.
That is sexism, Richie.
No,
I would argue those are two people in the same boat.
I listen. I know Tommy's on the coattails of Hamilton, right? Like being on this, like this is his big thing. I get that, right? I thought there were moments of Sweeney that were dark, that were cool. The jumping in and out of the floor was kind of cool. Like there was some moments that I was like, this is cool, but
They come out of the floor in Ragtime.
I know.
They do it a lot slower, but they come out of there.
I mean, we'll see what he does with
We'll see. I'm mostly giving you shit, but also I've been very vocal on this podcast that I don't think Kale did a goddamn thing with Sweeney Todd other than the jump in and out of the floor.
Right.
I called that no trigger Sweeney, no blood, no dirt, no danger. Yeah. And I don't consider his lack of a nomination a snub. I consider his lack of a nomination appropriate. And if I just spent enough time talking about my issues with Lear's direction for Ragtime, I am going to be even keel here and say it's not sexism on my part, because I will say the same goddamn thing about Tommy Kail.
No, I don't think it's perfect. I think since Hamilton, I think it's been tough to kind of see. Yeah, we'll see what he does with the now. He's going to do a play, not a musical. So
yeah, well, his Anna Christie at St. Anne's got a critic's pick from the same woman who gave a critic's pick to Queen of Versailles. So take that as you will.
We'll see what that's like. Oh my god! No, not sexist. Listen, I totally get it. Like, right, we should be. No,
but I hear you. No, you enjoyed what he did with Sweeney Todd, so you're standing by that opinion, and you're allowed.
Full disclosure, don't have a ton of experience with Sweeney, so that was my first time seeing a stage production of it. So I'm also.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's a good intro to Sweeney Todd, because they only gave you 2 fingers, not the full fist.
I will say that I don't think the movie's good at all, and so I had low expectations going in because I don't like the movie.
Oh, I love the movie, but the movie is a terrible representation of the show. The movie is its own entity. Like,
it's its own thing. Right.
Yeah, but we have like 9 different recordings of the stage show on video, so I'm like, let the movie be the weird stepsister. It's fine.
I need to go do some homework on that.
Yeah. But so yeah, I do not, unless proof is fantastic. I just don't think that Kale's getting in there. But I think that like Joe Turner's Come and Gone is a super huge option, because that's such a fascinating Wilson play. The only thing is that it is directed by Debbie Allen, who does not have the world's best stage record.
Yeah.
As a director, but things can happen.
We also have Kenny Leon's doing Ballisters.
I was going to say, what's Kenny Leon directing?
He's always every season. He's
Kenny Leon directing
working
this season?
every season. Good for him, because he's always working. Him and David Cromer's always working too. I don't know.
Every season there's always something. I will say the fact that this is Leon's only show this season is a little more exciting to me. He can give a little more focus on something.
Agreed. Give it some good focus.
Also, like, we have no Casey Nicolau this season. Like, some names really every season I feel like we see, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no Bart Scher this season either.
And also the director of Hell's Kitchen, forgetting his name.
Oh, Michael Greif. I
feel like we always see him on, but we don't see him anywhere. So.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Ann Kaufman for Marjorie Prime, who I don't think it will happen for her on this one, unfortunately, but she is well liked. She has been nominated before, and her work on Marjorie Prime is so exquisite with the actors that if she does get in, it would be like a cost of living situation where the ensemble work is so good, and because she has such a strong reputation as an actor's director, that could happen.
Yep.
But I think because there are so many options in the spring, and Marjorie Prime will be closed, I think by mid-February. So we'll see. I think that Oedipus and Liberation right now are 2 winter warriors.
Yeah.
Fighting the good fight.
All right, performances. Should we do play first?
Yeah, let's do play, featured actor and actress.
Okay, featured actor and actress, and supporting and leading. Let's see. We'll just featured role. So best performance by an actress in a featured role in a play. I actually had put Betsy Adom for Liberation. I really enjoyed her performance. I know Victoria Clark's up there too for Punch as a possibility, but Betsy for me over Victoria.
I think this is where I have to tell everyone, Vicky Clark is so lovely in Punch, and she's not getting nominated, and we have to accept it.
I think you're right. You're right. love her. I love her.
But with the 9,000 women from Liberation, not to mention, I don't know what's going to happen with Marjorie Prime, if June Squibb and Cynthia Nixon will be considered both featured or one of them's going to be considered lead. You'll see for yourself. June Squibb is technically speaking the lead role, but she's not in it a lot. She makes up the first half a lot, and then Cynthia Nixon takes over the second half. And so I don't know if they'll be co-leads or co-featured. Okay. But whichever categories they're in, I hope they both get in, because Nixon is so phenomenal in Marjorie Prime.
I love her. I can't wait to see. Great. That's great to know.
Yeah, we don't have a lot for this category right now.
I think of Liberation, Betsy Item is probably the one who has the best shot of getting in. I would then maybe say, here's the thing, Kayla Davion in Liberation really only has the one big scene in Act 2, and it's a great scene.
I thought of that. I know.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, is this going to be a performance where, because it has the one big showcase moment, that's enough, or is it not quite enough? You know what I mean?
I feel like it's enough if we go back to Sign and Sydney Brustein's Window, and that was enough for
the supporting. Who won that?
Oh, that was
she won for the one scene, right? Yeah.
Well, no, she had more than that scene.
Yeah, but I mean, she was. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Anne Hathaway winning for the Academy Award. I mean, and for one song and one lame. I mean, it's sometimes all it takes is one.
Yeah, sometimes all it takes is the one. And I will say with Kayla Davion, it helps that her big thing is later on in the show. Miriam Silverman is who won.
Yes.
Yeah, but Mavis and Sign and Sydney Brustein's Window, again, she had 3 scenes. And she obviously won for her big monologue telling all of them that they were you may be liberal, but you're awful. And she just so ate that. But
that was amazing.
Yeah, I think so. I would say for me, if it's outside of Betsy Adam, Kayla Davion is one that she's on my brain because of how that role is set up, and everyone in that show is wonderful. It's a phenomenal ensemble, but it is hard to figure out who to pick out for that. I think what helps with Betsy is that she's a previous nominee. People know her. I also have it on good authority that Kayla Davion might be coming back next season, so maybe things will be floating around when nominations happen. Yeah.
I think they probably had the two, as the supporting roles in that show, the most interesting part later on in the show for them, reenacting. So I think that's where it might separate them from the rest of the cast, because they are all kind of on the same level of really great acting.
Yeah. I also don't know what's going to happen with Laurie Metcalf with Death of a Salesman, if the production will be such that it emphasizes Linda and she'll feel like a co-lead, because up until the last production, Linda has always been in featured.
Yeah, always. I know.
Yeah. The Sharon D. Clark production was the first one where Linda was considered a lead. And I think there's enough of Linda that she can be a lead, but it all is a matter of the angle of the production. So I don't know what they're going to do with this, but
totally.
But yeah, so Laurie Metcalf is just that, she's a little asterisk. I also with Proof, Samira Wiley could absolutely get in for that. That's a great role. And who the fuck knows with the Ballasters? I also don't know what's going to happen with Giant. They've got some great women in that, but I don't know what those roles are. So
yeah.
And I'm assuming in Fallen Angels, those are both co-leads, Kelly and Roseburn, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would imagine that those are co-leads. Also, shout out to Anne Reid in Oedipus. I know that June Squibb's 96, but Anne Reid is 90, and she also has a really phenomenal track where she comes in at the top and makes an impression, and then comes back towards the end to make another great impression. So I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up seeing her as well. She's June Squibb and Kayla Davion combined.
Oh my God, there's a lot. I mean, it'll be anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, I think that featured actress in a play, it's so crowded that truly the nomination will be the award, because there's going to be a lot of women who will be unrecognized. And we want to, I'll do an episode for The Fallen who don't get nominated.
Yes, that's good.
And shout them out. Featured actor in a play, it's a little more sparse. I think Danny Burstein and Marjorie Prime has a good shot here. Okay. I hate to say it, I think James Corden and Art has a good shot here.
Oh, sure, totally. And
do they fall in as featured?
Yeah.
All three of them? Okay.
Yeah, I think the original, they were all considered featured, and I would imagine it's going to be the same for this.
Yep.
Okay.
We had put the
So I think James Corden could definitely.
Yeah,
for sure. I also thought the Michael Patrick Thornton as Lucky and Waiting for Godot was good, and I thought he could be considered maybe. There's Pazzo and Lucky. I thought he has that really great monologue, and I just maybe
I mean, John Glover was nominated years ago for playing Lucky, and for me, Brandon J. Dearden as Pazzo was really the standout performance, and I would probably nominate him.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I thought he was okay. I just feel like it was fine.
No,
that whole production to me was.
I didn't think he was fine. I think he was perfect. I thought he was the best one in the show.
Well, maybe that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's not going to be Keanu. I'm telling you that much. No. There's also John Carroll Lynch for Oedipus could also happen, but ultimately, actually, hold on. I could have sworn that they determined that they were all unfeatured. Am I making this up?
I have not heard, so I don't know.
I thought they were leading, but
let me look this up again, because I could have sworn they did an announcement. Didn't they do one announcement already?
They did, but did Art fall?
I don't know if that was considered in there or not. That's hard to play,
I'm looking this up. I'm looking this up now. Will Harrison is considered lead for Punch.
That I know.
And then, oh no, I guess they're all going to be considered lead because they're all above the title. Never mind. I take that back, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, so because I put them in our leading category, so maybe I did my research right.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so
sorry. Okay. All right. Well, then I guess we'll see. I mean, I think
that changes things up here too, because we still don't have a ton of the featured actor.
Yeah, I think this is where Joe Turner's Come and Gone is gonna dine out, because there are a lot of featured roles in that play.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't know how they're going to balance it out in Dog Day Afternoon, if they're going to be co-leads those two, or if one's more of a featured. Also, Death of a Salesman, we got the two sons, Lucky and Biff. Those tend to do well.
Yes, they do.
And for things that we've seen right now, I would put Charlie Thurston in there for Liberation, just because.
I mean,
he has a great mustache.
Thurston.
I cannot.
What? He's a handsome man.
Yes,
he is.
Yes, he's only in 1-2 scenes, but hey,
I'm saying for what we've seen, he would get nominated, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna use the same thing I said in Natasha Pierre when we were talking about flooding the basement. Ain't no underground in Louisiana. There is only underwater. Flooded basement.
All right, so we go to lead actress and actor in a play. Let's go to female first. So, actress in a leading role in a play. I mean, I'm putting Leslie Manville here so far. I think that's probably the strongest contender. I mean, I definitely know you have Jean Smart and Laurie Metcalf in this category currently as well. Susanna Flood as Lizzie in Liberation could also be considered leading, I would assume.
Yes, she's considered lead.
Yeah.
I think that as of right now, Laurie for Little Bear Ridge Road, Susanna Flood for Liberation, Carrie Coon for Bug, and who's the other one we're saying? Oh, and Leslie Manville for Oedipus. Those are all going to be fighting for it in the spring. Yeah. We'll see what happens with Becky Shaw and Proof and Fallen Angels. Yeah.
I mean, I think Rose Byrne and Kelly O'Hara alone are going to be, if they're great and they're big names, I think that's going to be hard.
It's going to help that Rose Byrne's going to be coming off of an Oscar nomination, possibly a win by that point. Wow. So there's going to be a lot of buzz with that. So Taraji P. Henson and Joe Turner, she'll be considered featured. That's a featured role.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with Laurie Metcalf with Death of a Salesman. I think if they are smart, they will petition her as featured, so she can get 2 nominations in 1 year.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, I also think I do see a world where Jean Smart is completely snubbed out.
Jean's not getting in at this point. We have too many strong contenders in better shows for Jean Smart to be in there. I mean, listen, as good as Carrie Coon is in Bug, there's a world in which she doesn't get in. I mean, because I or even Susanna Flood, I really think that Leslie Manville right now is the only one that I'm just putting such money down of. It's happening. She's getting nominated. She could possibly even win, no matter what happens in the spring.
She was amazing in that. I totally agree. And then actually that leads into actor and leading role in a play, because I do have Mark Strong up as a definite leading contender.
1,000%.
I mean, I know all the art guys are up there too.
All the art men. Now that I know their lead, they're all getting in.
I mean, I know they're all.
He's like, they're not getting
no,
it.
I don't see. I mean, I will.
No.
I don't see Alex or Keanu for Waiting for Godot really being up there either.
If I was giving it to one, it would be Alex.
Alex over Keanu, but yeah.
I think that with the spring with Daniel Radcliffe and John Lithgow and the two Dog Day Afternoon Gentlemen and Nathan Lane for Death of a Salesman. I don't know how Cheadle's going to be considered for proof. I think he'll be considered featured, but I don't know. Like
that'll probably be featured. I think.
Yeah, I think we're looking at Mark Strong and Mark Strong alone from the winter. Maybe I'm having some ayahuasca right now. But like maybe Will Harrison for Punch just because it's such a large central role. But I think that would be Punch's only real chance.
I also still kind of go back to what you said earlier, where there's a chance that we just have Punch completely forgotten overall, the whole production, unfortunately. But
it's not a punch, it's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, right. Not a punch.
And then he would be leading.
Oh, Micah Stock for Little Bear Ridge Road.
Would he be leading?
He would be lead. I don't
know
see that happening, but I know people who really enjoy that performance. I did not, but I think he has a better chance than Will Harrison. I will say that.
Yeah.
But I just think that there are too many big dogs in the spring that I just think it's Mark Strong, and that's the only one who's going to stick around.
If we go to musicals,
featured actor and actress in a musical, also kind of a little open.
Well, if we go featured actors in a musical so far, I mean, I think Nichelle Lewis has a good chance of being nominated for Ragtime. Shayna Taub maybe too, but I think Nichelle maybe gets that nomination over her.
I think Nichelle's the only one in Ragtime in that category that I would put money down. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I just want to put it in nominators' minds right now to consider Hannah Cruz for Chess. Just do it.
Okay,
just do it.
Her,
we
so
love
that's
her.
That's
so I'm
exciting.
excited to see what she's doing. She has a number in the show, right?
She only really has one. She has I Know Him So Well with Leah.
Oh.
But she's playing Svetlana. She plays the wife. She shows up for Act 2. And as I said in my review, she's the only one in the show for me who is playing a character that I genuinely watch and I go, oh, you're a human being who's fucked before. Whereas everyone else, I go, I don't know what world you're coming from. But also, I watched her in that show and went, oh, you're the one who went, I'm in chess and I will be giving you chess.
Okay, good.
Okay. So
I think she shows up and I went, oh, we have a woman now. But yeah, I would like them to consider her. I do think Nichelle has a strong shot.
I wish Melody Buttiu's role in Queen of Versailles was bigger. I thought that could have been. I don't see her getting nominated, but it would have been nice if they gave her a whole song or something.
Yeah, she had that really nice monologue, but otherwise, I think she'll probably get forgotten. We'll see what happens with Jellicle Ball and with Lost Boys and with Schmigadoon. From what I understand, Schmigadoon has a lot of featured actress chances.
Totally.
Yeah.
I asked a friend of mine who's working on Lost Boys, I went, is Shoshana Bean a lead or is she a featured? Because Diane Weiss is really a supporting role in the movie. And they said that she, based on how the role is written for the musical, she could be considered lead. But she also, I think they're figuring out what her best option would be. And I think feature would be a better option for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's kind of light right now.
We'll have Deborah Cox as featured.
Oh yeah, she'd probably be. Yeah. Oh no, she would be. Right?
Yes, right?
Yeah, we'll have Deborah Cox. I mean,
We'll see what happens with Rose and Titanic, especially if the current rumor of who might be playing Rose on Broadway is true.
No, it was announced. Jim Parsons.
No, that's Ruth.
Oh, Ruth. Oh my God, I'm totally
Rose.
Oh,
Rose.
There's a rumor about who's going to be playing Rose.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, can we hear the rumor?
Not on the...
Let's just say she's known for being rather pitch perfect.
Oh,
and she's she finishes every drink she has because she needs to play the cup.
I see. Interesting.
Yes, you got it.
That is the rumor.
I got it. I got it.
You know what they say about rumors, though.
Yeah, true. All right. So if we go to actor in a featured role,
but there would definitely be a ton of featured
for Titanic
and
for
Schmigadoon.
I think Schmigadoon more than Titanic. Titanic, I think it's really just Molly Brown that's a featured female role, because there's actually a lot of options for featured actor in a musical there. Cal, Ruth, The Iceberg. I think those are all genuine featured roles.
Definitely Schmigadoon. And if any of them, like if Mackenzie Kurtz transfers,
where is she going? Because she left Heathers pretty quickly. So
she left Heathers. I think she left Heathers to do Schmigadoon. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong.
I'm sure she
If that
is.
happens,
I
I'll be
mean,
very happy.
because she would be hilarious.
Because we're stands over
We
here.
love
Yeah, I heard she was great in DC, so that would be a nice option.
And
for
then
her.
I don't know who's playing the Jane. I say it based on the Apple TV. I know Jane Krakowski had an awesome featured, but I don't know who's playing that.
But that was season 2, wasn't it? Oh no, she is in season 1.
Yeah, she comes to the town and has this big number, but I don't know who's doing that on Broadway yet. I haven't heard.
I don't know either. They've only announced that Alex Brightman and Sarah Chase are in it. They haven't announced anyone else yet. Featured actor. So from Chess, there's Bryce Pinkham and Bradley Dean. There's F. Murray Abraham from Queen of Versailles. Ragtime, there's Ben Levi Ross and Colin Donnell. Of all of these guys, I'm gonna say Bryce Pinkham and Ben Levi Ross have the best shot. Okay. Similar to what I said before, like with Jellicle Ball, with Rocky Horror, with Lost Boys, and with Schmigadoon, and even Titanic. Like I think those are going to come in and sort of flood the options pretty soon.
I had thought F. Murray for maybe leading, but I guess he would be supporting.
He isn't supporting. I think he's been deemed supporting.
Yeah. Ben has more to do in Ragtime than Colin. I thought Colin was good, but Colin doesn't have a ton to do in that.
Father exists to be racist and for the audience to go, "You're racist." Oh shit, sorry. Fuck, I have a phone call. 1 second, gentlemen.
You're good. Take your time.
Okay. We have to wrap things up soon. Sorry. I have a phone call with my director.
Rapid fire.
Father exists to be racist. I don't think Colin's getting in. I think Ben has a better shot because that's the better role. But I think so. Yeah, I would say right now the only one that I would say to keep tabs on is Ben. But I don't totally buy that. Lead actress in a musical. At the moment, we got Kristen, Casey, Leah, Christiana Pitts, Christine Sherrill from Mamma Mia. I'm going to say Casey's in.
Casey's in.
And I think Kristen is... I think she's on the bubble.
She's going to be like Idina from last season and be forgotten, I think.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but I think she's going to. And then also Christiane, maybe... I'm sure Leah's getting a nomination. I haven't seen Chess yet, but I'm sure Leah's getting a nomination. I mean...
I don't know if Leah's getting in.
Really? No. That's a bold statement.
It is a very bold statement. I think. Sorry. I think with Jessica Vosk and Marla Mandel and Sarah Chase and possibly Shoshana Bean. Like I don't know. I think Leah has a shot, but I'm not sure Leah's getting in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. And Casey, I think that's in for sure.
Yeah. Actor in a musical, I think Joshua Henry for sure.
I think actually I could go so far as to say I think he could win it.
I think he's got a very good shot to win. I think Sam Tootie for Two Strangers also is a sure thing. And then everyone else we have, Nick Christopher, Aaron Tveit, and Brandon Uranowitz. I think they're all kind of swimming around of like,
do we? Yep.
We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe.
Yep. It'll be tough.
Yeah, especially with, we'll see how successful Luke Evans is in Rocky Horror. We'll see what happens with Lost Boys. We'll see what happens with Schmigadoon. Right. But I also, because I'll say with lead actress, we can just say I think Marla Mandel will be getting in for Titanic. It's just that's gonna happen.
Sure. Sure.
And then lead actor and actress in plays. We did that already.
Yep.
We did.
I think we're.
Wait, so we're done?
Yeah, we might be done.
Yeah, that was the quick rapid fire at the end.
Yeah.
Well, because I forgot I had a phone call. Okay,
it's okay. You got to the lab. That was good.
Okay, so of what we have so far this winter, would you say are the big shows that you want to make sure people keep on their possible ballots for nominations?
Ooh.
I think they kind of speak for themselves. I think Two Strangers and Ragtime are going to keep themselves in the race. They're just still running into the dead of winter right now. So I think those are things that people like are going to just have no choice but to keep on the back burner.
And then for plays, Liberation, Oedipus, probably. We
need to remember those, even though they're closing soon. We have to remember those.
And I want everyone to also remember Marjorie Prime, especially when it comes to acting. I think that there's some good stuff that could happen there. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Liberation, Oedipus, definitely keep pins in that. I think Little Bear Ridge Road will have some stuff that will get remembered in the spring, but I don't think as much as people are expecting.
Yep.
I think of the two, Liberation is the one that's going to carry on through. And then, for all the things we said about Ragtime, like Ragtime is going to do quite well on nomination morning.
Sure, of course. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but I think what we've been saying is like, do not forget that Jellicle Ball is coming. Do not forget.
Every category we've ended with saying, and let's just not forget we have Jellicle Ball. I feel like that's going to really come out of nowhere, and then that's going to be the bright, shiny toy that everyone looks at, and that's really going to happen. I really
believe. Gentlemen, this has been so lovely. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having us.
Where can people find you if you want them to find you?
Jeff?
on the podcast at Half Hour Podcast with Jeff and Richie on Instagram, and we're on all the major platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, etc.
Take a listen.
Amazing. If you want to follow us, guys, I'm on Instagram at Matt Koplik, usual spelling. I believe we're going to be starting a TikTok soon. Don't quote me on that.
Okay. You'll see us there.
We're there too.
TikTok scares me, babe. But you can also give this podcast a nice 5-star rating or review. You can join our Substack or our Discord, especially as we're now getting into Tony discourse. This is a great time to join the Discord channel or join the Substack. Jeff, Richie, what diva do you want to close out with today?
I chose last time.
We should do a new Broadway diva, manifesting Mackenzie Kurtz.
Ooh, okay, let's go there.
Because she's gonna be a new Broadway diva.
All right, we're gonna do that. We're gonna close out with Miss Mackenzie Kurtz. All right, we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
For a bush, well, they can kiss my tush. It seems to me